Hello everyone, I'm Kelby from Taylor's University, and this video is to research about the education system in Korea and its correlation with the suicide rates in the country. So the reason why we wanted to conduct this research is actually to understand the impact of academic pressure on student suicide in South Korea, philosophical reflections on the South Korean education, as well as analyze how the Korean education system is affected by Western educational models and how this affects the mental health of Koreans. So in order to conduct this research, our team actually did an online survey from Google Form of 60 participants, as well as filmed a street interview with Korean students just to examine the underlying factors as well as the psychological effects of these students due to the pressure of South Korea's educational system. So let's go watch the video.
Hello everyone, welcome to our street interview. Today we'll be discussing a critical issue that we all face, which is suicide rates and the education system, more specifically in Korea. Let's find out what people think.
Absolutely. Now we're going to chat with random students on street and let's hear about their insights. Let's go! Are you free to have a short interview?
Available for interview.
Alright, can you have a short introduction of yourself?
Right. Hi, my name is Marcus. I'm studying mass communication. So, what's the topic?
So today we'll be discussing the pressure on students from South Korea. And how that might lead to higher suicide rates among students. So what are your thoughts on that?
I see. Now that's a tough one. The pressure to excel academically is insane, and it can really take a toll on your mental health. I've seen friends struggle with it. It's like we're exposed to be perfect all the time, and that's just not realistic.
Okay, it sounds like the expectations are overwhelming. What challenges do you think that could help alleviate this pressure?
Well, schools need to foster a more supportive environment, one where students feel valued just beyond their grades. There should be more opportunities for extracurricular activities and exploration. And of course, we need to have an open conversation about mental health to reduce the stigma.
Absolutely. Creating a supportive environment is essential in a better mental health. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. For our interview?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, can you introduce yourself first?
I'm Wei Tian and from Bachelor of Mass Comm, 19 years old today.
Hi, thank you for joining us for our interview. So today we'll be discussing the intense pressure of the education system on students' mental health and how that might lead to a higher suicide rate. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a real struggle as we are constantly stressed about our grades, exams and meeting expectations. Like there's no room for anything else sometimes. And I put all my thoughts trying to plan for my exams and I think it's not sustainable.
Yeah, that sounds very challenging. How do you think that school could better support on students' mental health?
Well, for starters, I think we need more counselors and mental health resources that's readily available for us, and it shouldn't be a taboo to talk about our struggles. Also, schools should encourage a more holistic approach to our education. One values mental health as much as the academics. Yeah.
Alright, that sounds great. Thank you for sharing.
Some really thought-provoking insights from our student interviewers.
Absolutely. Let's explore more potential solutions. How do you think that we can address this issue and improve this situation?
Promote a healthier work-life balance and encourage students to pursue interests other than academics.
Most importantly, we need to change the culture around success. It's not just about grades, it's for well-being and personal growth.
Great ideas for moving forward.
Absolutely. Let's keep the conversation alive and work together for personal change.
Now that we looked at the video, let's look at the findings and discussions, with first being of Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy. So regarding the suicide rates in South Korea, the analysis of both Western and Eastern philosophical views emphasizes the relationship between societal conditions as well as individual behaviors. From a Western philosophical perspective, the emphasis is on using logical deductions and assessing standards for drawing valid conclusions. Suicide rates aren't just a reflection of personal issues, but it's also related to societal issues, as suggested by the statistical data as well as the patterns. In particular, the intensely competitive education system places a great deal of social pressure on society, which is consistent with the startling rise in student suicide rates. This approach emphasizes how society elements have a significant impact on how people behave and perform. Eastern philosophy, on the other hand, places more emphasis on the value of social influence and collective identity. High suicide rates are a result of social pressure and cultural expectations in South Korea, especially in the education system. This viewpoint is consistent with Eastern philosophical ideas that emphasize on how people are a part of their communities and how community identification affects individuals' well-being. While taken as a whole, these viewpoints highlight the intricate interactions that exist between social institutions, group norms, and personal experiences while attempting to comprehend the issue of suicide rates in South Korea. Now for psychology and sociology. As you can see from these results right here, from a psychological perspective, these results demonstrate that humanity is present in the challenges that individuals in South Korea face within the education system. Students' mental health suffer as a result of immense pressure to perform well and fit into the society's expectation, and this can result to suicidal thoughts and behavior. From a sociological analysis, this can show that a too competitive education system has a negative impact on society's overall well-being, especially for young people. It illustrates the way that cultural norms and societal structures impacts people's actions and results. Let's move on to metaphysics, ontology, theology, epistemology, rationalism, empiricism, and the theory of truth. So, these findings right here make reference to philosophical issues regarding the nature of existence and reality. Suicide rates in South Korea are rising, which casts doubts on unrealistic expectations of society's development and highlights the difficult realities that people in the education system endure. Since the data displays a clear link between societal pressures and the suicide rates of South Korean students, it is in line with empiricism from an epistemological point of view. It emphasizes how important it is to use empirical observation as well as analysis to discover the truth underlying these occurrences. A bit of a tangent, but I feel like everyone knows that South Korea is already renowned for its highly competitive education system. Like, everyone knows about it. But this places significant stress on the student from a really young age, and it potentially contributes to the occurrence of teenage suicide. These psychological and sociological factors include the overwhelming emphasis on academic achievement and the importance attached to exams, creating intense pressure and stress with students. So, as you can see here in this little diagram, in 2022, the suicide rate was notably highest among individuals with a high school degree, reaching 3.8 thousand deaths. Because Korean culture is so strong on its emphasis on parental expectations, this further adds to the burden, and this might instill a fear of failure, elevated stress levels, as well as just high expectations among the students. Notably, in 2013, reports reveal that students in Seoul study off-site until 2 a.m. before the next day commences, every single day before the Korean SATs. The perpetual comparison with peers regarding academic performance adversely affects students' self-esteem, fostering a fear of failure behind or not meeting societal expectations, ultimately contributing to the psychological distress. Thank you for the tangent. Let's look at philosophy of Sujaitra. So, based on the analysis and studies of diverse philosophical perspective of the education and suicide in Korea, we believe that philosophy of Sujaitra plays a significant role in trying to reduce and estrange this behavior. To prove that, let's look at what it actually means. Philosophy of Sujaitra is a basic concept of humanity that is typically applied to your spheres of life, many of which include your ecological, spiritual, political, educational, and social spheres. It is used to balance yourself from various angles in your life, both internally and externally. So, when we put these principles onto our case study, most of the students might get rid of the thought using the philosophy of Sujaitra. Combating suicide, of course, needs all-encompassing and a diverse strategy that recognizes the connection between the personal well-being and a much larger social dynamic. So, by adopting the concept of philosophy of sejahtera and giving priority to comprehensive approaches to well-being, hopefully communities will create circumstances that foster resilience and mental health, which can lower suicide rates. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. To conclude everything, we think that the intricate relationship between suicide and the education system in South Korea underscores an urgent need of reform and societal change. The relentless emphasis on academic achievements, coupled with the intense competition and societal expectations, has inevitably created a toxic environment for so many students, pushing them to the brink of despair. While the education system has undoubtedly played a pivotal role in South Korea's economic success, its detrimental impact on the mental health and well-being on young people cannot be overlooked. So, to address this issue, we think that efforts should be required from all sectors of society. For example, governments can implement policies aimed at reducing academic pressure and promoting a more holistic approach to education. More so, parents and families can also reassess their expectations and redefine success beyond academic achievements. So we hope that by doing this research, it fosters more open conversations about mental health and it breaks the stigma surrounding seeking help, because those are actually crucial steps towards creating a more compassionate and understanding society. By acknowledging the flaws in the current education system and taking proactive measures to mitigate the negative systems, South Korea can actually pave a way for a brighter future for the future generations, where young people can pursue their dream without sacrificing their mental health. Ultimately, we think that the issue of suicide can't be solved overnight. But with concerted efforts and a commitment to change, we believe that it's absolutely possible to create a more nurturing and supportive environment for future generations, which is ultimately what we look for. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it. And yes, have a nice day ahead.